Yo, what is going on, guys? It is non-reality, and in today's video, I'm basically going to be doing a mythic tank guide for every single dungeon out right now. This will basically just cover all of the boss mechanics because they are going to be the same, obviously, from Mythic 0 to like Mythic 25, obviously with the differences being the modifiers, which is why I will not be making any guides on how to pull mobs and stuff because that's going to differ depending on what modifiers you have. So I will skip around to each boss, and when I get there, obviously I will uh, guide you guys through it and what stuff happens. But one thing you gotta note first is that each of these NPCs will give you a different buff. Right now we are in the Algeth'ar, right here, the Algeth'ar Academy, and each of these give you a different buff. You can look through them and see which one you want. Personally, I take the green one. And I will see you guys in the first boss. Alright, so we're at the first boss. This is Veximus. It's a pretty simple boss, like most of the bosses actually in this expansion. He has two mechanics. The first one being a frontal cone that he'll shoot out that you have to dodge, and the second one just being these orbs that you have to collect and don't let them get to him. This is the cone that we have to face away from the group, and then the orbs, and those are the only two mechanics. And the DPS and healers can help with the orbs. They don't do that much damage, and you will just keep spawning these throughout the fight, and that is about it. I'll obviously finish up this fight, and then once this fight ends, I will see you guys at the next boss. Also, just a note that Arcane Fissure happens every single time, and the more orbs he has, the more damage that does. And there we go, that is the boss. I will see you guys at the second boss. Just a quick bonus tip for this elite right here. This isn't one of the bosses, but if you tank him closer to the pillar, it'll just help your DPS get out of the way faster, because he does an AoE ability that will push you off the map if you don't get behind a pillar. And I'll see you at the next boss. Yo, what is going on, guys? So we're at the second boss. The second boss here is Croth, which is this bird right here. And this boss only has three mechanics, with one that I would say is a major mechanic. First mechanic of this boss is every so often he will do a peck attack, and that peck attack will do around 200,000 to 300,000 damage, obviously depending what mythic you're doing. This one right here, Savage Peck, it'll put a dot on you that does damage over time. You basically just want to try to absorb it. And then the other two mechanics, one of them is just an AoE cone that he's doing right now. As far as I know, that's not a directional cone that you can place, but it is just another mechanic to watch out for, because obviously if you get knocked off the map, you're not going to be very helpful. And now this last mechanic right here is where you have to throw these orbs into the rings. You want to throw the orbs into the red ring, because that will stun them and make them take 75% more damage, where the blue one just gives you a bit of haste and a bit of other stats. The red one is just all around better. And that is it for the mechanics of this boss. Like the last boss, I will let this fight play out, and then I will see you guys at the next boss. Okay, we're on to the second to last boss, which is the Overgrown Ancient. This boss has some add mechanics. The main mechanics you want to look out for is he'll do that mechanic right there called Bark Breaker, which basically makes you take 100% more damage. Just be careful, make sure you use your defensive cooldowns for that. And another mechanic he has is he'll spawn these Hungry Lashers. These Hungry Lashers need to be dealt with before he casts his next ability. That will make these come to life and start attacking. If this does happen, just make sure your group stacks up on top of tanks so you can pull aggro. And then the last mechanic here is this guy, which will constantly heal the boss until you take him out. You should be using your interrupts on them, and Make sure you're killing the ads, and the boss is pretty straightforward after that. And that is it for that boss. On to the next one. And we are on to the last boss. This is probably the most simple boss in the dungeon. I think with Dragonflight, they kind of wanted to take a more simplistic path to the mechanics of the bosses on the dungeons and make it just so the modifiers make it more difficult at an exceeding rate compared to the other expansions. So this boss is honestly really simple. Just don't get hit by any of the AoE pools he puts down, and place this orb that you get as far as you can from everyone else. So basically what happens if you get hit by any of these, I'll get hit by this one, you'll get stacks. And at max stacks, you'll create a rift that basically just does a bunch of damage. So basically just stay out of any AoEs he has, and you'll be fine. You see how this DPS is taking it really far away, so when he sucks us in, it won't hurt. And that is it for this boss as well. Just make sure you're getting out of these abilities as fast as you can. Obviously, I'm a slow tanky boy, so it is harder for me to get out. And that is it for this dungeon. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And I'll be making guides for every mythic dungeon in this expansion that's out so far. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.